You're preparing for the NDECC and you've got questions. We're here to help. It is totally understandable to have some questions about what to expect and what you need to do, especially if this is your first time taking the NDECC. Here are some tips to help you prepare. We find that having as much information about the day as possible beforehand sets you up to do your best on the day. One of the best things you can do to prepare is to review the most current NDECC protocol and NDECC practical guide prior to your examination. The protocol outlines instructions, regulations, grading criteria, and more in detail. The practical guide outlines features of the test center, a detailed list of equipment, instruments, materials, and supplies provided for the clinical skills component, and answers frequently asked questions. Also, you can find some helpful tips and answers to frequently asked questions on the NDECC page on our website. Before your exam day, you should confirm that your government-issued photo identification has the same name as you registered with the NDEB and is not expired. If you arrive at the exam without proper ID, you may not be admitted. The NDECC takes place at the NDECC Test Center in Ottawa, Ontario, located at 340 Albert Street on the 12th floor. You need to bring a few things with you. Bring your valid government-issued ID, your lunch and/or snacks. You cannot leave the test center to get food during the exam, nor can you have food delivered. You can store your food and drinks in the fully equipped candidate lounge. Your loops and a spare battery for the clinical skills component. These are the only items that you're allowed to bring into the simulation clinic. Do not bring masks or gloves, pens, pencils, or paper, any luggage. While you are provided with a locker to securely store personal effects, there is not enough space in the candidate locker room to store luggage. Family or friends. This is for candidates only. Family and friends cannot accompany you. Give yourself lots of time to get here on time for your exam. While you won't be admitted before the registration time, being here early will relieve a lot of stress, and you can relax in the main floor lounge areas prior to coming upstairs to our offices. There are several shops on the main floor of our building that sell food and beverages, and they are open early in the morning. The clinical skills and situational judgment components have different registration times. Check to be sure you arrive at the NDEB offices at the correct time for your exam. If you arrive early for your exam, you may not be admitted until the registration time. When you arrive, please line up with your fellow candidates for registration. It won't take long. We will confirm your ID, have you sign the candidate rules agreement, and then you'll be given your NDECC card. Your detailed situational judgment schedule is on the back of your NDECC card. The back of your NDECC card also has a space for you to enter emergency contact information. Should an emergency arise, we will use this information to notify your emergency contact. With the registration now complete, you'll be directed to the candidate locker room to store your belongings. All lockers have a built-in lock. Instructions for how to use the lock are posted in the locker room. Before entering the test center, be sure you have secured all personal items, including wallets and cell phones, in the locker room. Only your loops and spare batteries and items approved at registration are allowed in the test center for the clinical skills examination. The NDEB takes misconduct very seriously, and if you're found to have a prohibited item in the test center, including a cell phone or watch, it will be reported. If you're unsure where to leave a prohibited item, ask a staff member or invigilator for assistance prior to entering the test center. Once your belongings are secured, you proceed to the candidate lounge until the orientation begins. The lounge is a comfortable place to sit and relax or eat your lunch. Coffee, tea, water, snacks, and kitchen facilities, including a microwave, refrigerator, and sink, are all provided. Our facility also offers a small private room for nursing mothers and for meditation or prayer. If you need this room, please contact us before your exam day so we can reserve it for you at a specific time. If you wait to request the room until the day of the exam, we may not be able to accommodate your request. The NDECC begins with orientation videos on both examination days. The orientation videos both include an introduction to the NDEB facilities, including the location of emergency exits and washrooms. The clinical skills orientation will take place in the simulation clinic at your simulator. The clinical skills orientation video will outline equipment information as well as emergency procedures for the clinic. The situational judgment orientation will take place in the candidate lounge and will outline what to expect as you move through the 10 stations. We have worked to create an environment that is authentic and simulates a dental clinic to help enable you to perform all clinical skills procedures as if you are working on actual patients. When you enter the simulation clinic on your clinical skills day, you'll be directed to your assigned simulator. Your simulator number can be found on your NDECC card. Your simulator will be set up with your examination material. You will find your mobile dental cabinet, a communication form, a provisional crown box, and a mannequin with the typodont installed, and a practice arch. The practice arch will contain one endodontic access practice tooth and stock teeth. Confirm that your ID number and your typodont, communication form, and provisional crown container are correct. If you notice any errors, notify an invigilator as soon as possible. Each typodont is inspected for damage and irregularities before you arrive for your exam, and the verification log will have been signed by an invigilator confirming that no damage is present. All teeth have been tightened and are in the correct position. Invigilators will circulate through the clinic during the clinical skills component. Invigilators will be grading your infection control and safety requirement during the exam. They are also available to assist you with equipment or typodont problems you may encounter. Invigilators will not provide advice or answer questions regarding the requirements. There is a mandatory 30-minute break on the day of the clinical skills component. You can use this time in the candidate lounge to eat the lunch or snacks you've brought with you. At the end of the day, an invigilator will announce when the time is up. When your exam time is over, you must stop working and follow the instructions provided by the invigilators. You will exit the clinic with your loupes, batteries, and personal items, leaving the typodont and other materials behind. You will need to collect your belongings from the candidate lounge and locker room as you leave the simulation clinic. And while we understand the desire to stay afterwards and talk with fellow candidates about the exam, you need to remember that you have signed a non-disclosure agreement, which specifically says you will not discuss the exam. That does include not discussing it with other candidates who have completed the exam. Also, our staff needs to prepare the simulation clinic for tomorrow's candidates, so we do appreciate you leaving directly after the exam. After your orientation for the situational judgment component, you will be escorted to the situational judgment hallway containing the 10 situational judgment stations. Your schedule is located on the back of your NDECC card. You will proceed to your starting station as indicated on your schedule. There are 5 written response stations and 5 conversation stations. You will be video recorded in all rooms and audio recorded in the simulated patient rooms for evaluation purposes. There are no breaks on the day you perform the situational judgment component, as it only requires a half day to complete. When the exam is over, NDECC staff will guide you to the lockers where you will collect your belongings and leave the test center. The NDA you signed applies to the situational judgment component as well, so please collect your belongings and exit the test center without lingering to discuss the exam with others. Remember, we're always here to help. You can reach us by email or phone for help finding information and to answer your questions. For more detailed information, check the NDECC Practical Guide available on our website. Do make sure you're reading the most recent version as we update, remove, add, or substitute items in the NDECC Practical Guide when necessary. Good luck.